Today's discussion will be presented in 4 sections, since we are recording it for broadcast on Federal News Radio, 1500 AM. You're welcome to post questions and comments during the session, and we'll try to answer them online. I'd like to introduce our moderator, John Gilroy, host of Federal Tech Talk on Federal News Radio.
Welcome and thanks for joining us. My guest today is Don Turner, Technology Lead, Engineering Team at Avaya Government Solutions. You know, so many IT initiatives across the federal government today seem to emphasize reducing operating costs, increasing collaboration, and ensuring information and systems are protected. Many federal professionals are not aware that Avaya has significant experience in many of these categories. Let's have a discussion with subject matter experts from Avaya Government Solutions to shed some light on these issues and practical ways to address them. Well, first of all, Don, there's a lot of buzz in the IT marketplace about the Internet of Things, or IoT. Why is network infrastructure important for agency professionals as they prepare for tomorrow's IoT?
So the network is the foundational element that really enables the Internet of Things and then all of the applications that run on those things to be an effective tool for the workforce today. So making a network and a secure access for those devices anywhere at any time and making sure that they operate easily and effectively is a primary goal. And it offers up a lot of challenges to the agencies that are trying to implement the IoT.
So we talk about today's IoT and tomorrow's IoT, and this is where it can get very scary. If you look at studies, Gartner, McKinsey says that by 2020, there will be 20 billion new IoT devices floating around. Gartner, a little more optimistic, says by 2020, 21 billion. These are new devices that we haven't planned for, that we may not even know where they apply. This is difficult to manage that future explosion, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And getting the access and capabilities to those devices, but then also securing the information that's sent to and from those devices presents a number of challenges.
So if you have a network or a framework for absorbing these new IoT devices, that's a good way to manage them. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And being able to control and be able to provide the access to those devices easily and effectively.
One thing that maybe people aren't thinking about, they hear about Internet of Things and billions, but many times with this increased amount of information, this can impact network performance, can't it?
It can, because a lot of these devices not only have real-time needs from a service delivery perspective, but also involve a lot of multimedia, video capabilities, and other things that present network performance challenges as well.
And so one way to actually take advantage of the Internet of Things is to have a well-designed network.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a well-designed network. Great. We have all this information coming in here. How do you collect, generate, and share that information?
Well, the first step is to get access to the devices and the capabilities. So just like you have a power system in your home that lets you basically plug any electrical appliance into it, the Internet of Things and the network that it attaches to needs to be available anywhere and provide that sort of universal plug in and access information from any device and anywhere.
You know, what's interesting is that Avaya Government Solutions can control this not through physical networking, but through different types of networking.
So Avaya has software-defined networking called SDN-FX architecture. SDN-FX is what we use to create these elastic and secure networks for our customers.
Let's go back to the IoT, the Internet of Things. So if you consider Internet of Things, it can be sensors not only on medical devices, it could be sensors on mechanical devices, possibly even the aerospace community. So you could have a sensor on a marine aircraft halfway around the world, and your system can tell you there's a problem and the way to fix the problem, can't it?
Yeah, so the boundaries of that network perimeter extend everywhere in the new environment of Internet of Things. So being able to create, establish, and secure all of those different access points is a particular challenge that Avaya can address with our software-defined networking SDN-FX architecture.
You know, I spend a lot of time in a classroom, and I always go up to a whiteboard and diagram this, diagram that. And years ago, you could diagram a network pretty easily with black and white. But There's no whiteboard big enough to diagram what's going to happen in the future, is there?
No, I mean, the network is everywhere, and the access to it is on any number of different types of devices. People bringing their own devices to the workplaces, people using their personal mobile devices to access their work information, things like that.
And where do you draw the line between a personal device and a networking device, between an Apple Watch and some kind of a sensor that is part of the federal government?
With SDNFX, we don't draw a line on that. There are different boundaries and business rules and application rules within the enterprise environment for the government that they would define. But from a network perspective, we can leverage and apply all of those that would be permissible within the environment.
I've discussed enterprise architecture with many people over the years, and they come up with very, very complex charts. You almost need a microscope to see which vector goes where and understand it. It gets to be so difficult. It seems like the solution can't be on black and white paper anymore. It has to be a dynamic system that can respond to this Internet of Things and the new challenges that come up everything. I can't see any kind of an old-fashioned enterprise architecture responding to the needs of the IoT.
And it really doesn't. And that's one of the reasons Avaya created SDNFX. So SDNFX lets the network create itself. So as a device requests access or permission to access certain areas, those segments are automatically defined and provisioned by the network. So you don't do the manual things that you used to have to do in traditional networking. The way the network is established through the protocols, it's automatically established when that connection and that device asks for connectivity, and then it's torn down once that device is not requiring it anymore. So it secures that connection and basically creates and segments that network.
Okay. Don, we're going to have to pause here for a short break. My guest today is Don Turner, Technology Lead Engineering Team. I'm your moderator, John Gilroy, on the discussion From Sea to Shining Sea, Connected Government at Work, sponsored by Avaya Government Solutions on Federal News Radio 1500 AM and federalnewsradio.com.